Welcome to the session Object Oriented Programming through Java. We are going to see inheritance in this session. Myself, Navya. I am an assistant professor of CSIT department in MLR Institute of Technology. So, here in this session we are going to see what is inheritance and what are the types of inheritance. And we will see an example program for inheritance. Coming to inheritance, what is inheritance? Inheritance is Java. Acquiring the properties from one class to another class is known as inheritance, which we have seen in the last sessions. Here, it is also known as a mechanism in which one object acquires the properties and behaviors of parent object. For example, myself, I am a kid of my parent, isn't it? So, I can have some behaviors as well as some facial features like my father or mother. So, in the same way, you can acquire the properties from one class to another class or one object to another object is known as inheritance. It's an important concept in object-oriented programming. Okay. So, here one class is acquiring the properties from another class. So, using keyword called extends. Extends is a keyword which is used to inherit the properties from one class to another class. So, here you are having a class which is already defined is in superclass and subclass extends superclass. So, extends is a keyword which is used to acquire the properties of one class to another class. And here we can have the terminology called a class which is inherited. Okay, is called as a parent class or superclass, and the class which is inheriting is called as child class or subclass, or you can call it as base class for the parent class, and here you can call it as subclass. Extends is a keyword, indicates that you are making a new class that derives the properties from an existing class. So, what is the meaning of extends is increase the functionality. So, you are increasing the functionality by acquiring the properties or behavior from the parent class. So, coming to types of inheritance, you are having 5 types of inheritances. So, one is single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance as well as multiple inheritance. These are the 5 inheritances you are having in Java. So, coming to single inheritance, if a child class acquiring the properties from parent class, it is known as a single inheritance. So, when a class inherits another class, it is known as single inheritance. For example, dog class inherits the animal class. Dog is also an animal. So, it's a single inheritance. So, let us see a small example program of this. So, I am taking a class superclass. And in this, I am having int a equals to 10 and I am creating a method just print. Okay. Print is my method. It will print simply I am a superclass method. And now I am creating another class which is subclass. So, I has to extends the superclass. Extends superclass. So, here subclass is a class which is a child class of superclass. So, it's a single inheritance. Here I am creating another method called void print. One is my method. So, first I want to print the a value. A is not created in subclass, it was created in superclass. Directly I am taking A. and now I just want to call print method in subclass. So print method I am calling. Here simply I am giving a message, I am a subclass method. Okay. I am ending the method as well as this. Now I am creating a class single inheritance. Okay. I am taking only inheritance, public static void I am just creating the object for subclass. Subclass is equals to new subclass, and I am calling the print1 method. That's it. So I am saving this as inheritance.java. I don't have any errors. See here, the value has been 10 and I am a superclass method and a subclass method. For example, let me give you one demo. If I did not give the extends keyword, okay, I am putting this in commands. See, when I compile it, what happens? See, you will get an error. That what are the errors you can see here is javac inheritance.java, error cannot find the symbol. So a variable a is not defined, as well as the method print is not existing. So when I keep this extends superclass, so which I can access the value, the variables or the methods from the superclass also. This is what the concept of inheritance. The next inheritance is multi-level inheritance. The same sequence is continued for the next level. It is known as multi-level inheritance. You can have, for example, our parents can inherit the properties from our grandparents, as well as ourselves can inherit the properties from our parents. Here simply you can call it as the chain of inheritance is known as multi-level inheritance. Okay, so if I am having only here up to here, it's a single inheritance. If it is continued for n number of classes, it is multi-level inheritance. And here simply I can go with the baby dog or the puff class inherits the dog class, which is again inherited by the animal class. It's a multi-level. Okay. I can go with one example of this. Simply class subclass 1 extends subclass. Okay, I'm having another method print2. Simply I'm calling print1 method here. Okay, and I'm a baby class method. Okay, I'm closing it. Now, simply I create print2. I'm calling it. Okay. See here, what happens? I am calling print method. By print method, whatever the values I have got from the superclass, subclass 1 and subclass 2 also. So this is what multi-level inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. If two child classes inherits the properties from the same parent class, then the concept is said to be in hierarchical inheritance. So when two or more classes inherits a single class, it is known as hierarchical inheritance. So two or more classes inherits a single class. It is known as hierarchical inheritance. If animal is a superclass, then dog and cat are subclasses. So this is what the hierarchical inheritance. We'll have a small program of this. So I just want to have the same thing. Here, this is my superclass. Subclass is extended superclass. In the same way, I just want to have subclass 1 also extends superclass here. So here I am having the print 2 method and I am calling the print this is subclass 1 method. So here what happens if I has to call it, if I am creating, I has to create, these are the two subclasses, right? So I has to create two objects. So I am creating the objects to s1 dot print1 and I am calling print2 method. Print1 belongs to subclass and print2 belongs to subclass 1 method. So I am taking, I am a superclass method as well as I am a superclass method and subclass 1 method. So this is how it would be. I can access the superclass methods for both subclass and subclass 1. This is how the hierarchical inheritance will work. So next, coming to multiple inheritance. So when one class is inheriting the properties from other two parent classes, then the inheritance is said to be the multiple inheritance. But in Java, multiple inheritance is not possible directly. So multiple inheritance feature is some programming languages allows class to inherit other than one programming language, but to reduce the complexity and simplify the language, multiple inheritance is not supported in Java directly, but it could support using interfaces. It does not support directly, but it can support using interfaces. Next, hybrid inheritance. The combination of any n number of inheritances is known as hybrid inheritance. So hybrid is nothing but mixture. So made of more than one thing. So in the same way, it's in composition of two or more types of inheritances is known as hybrid inheritance. You can combine n number of inheritances, types of inheritance. The main purpose of hybrid inheritance is used to modularize the code into well-defined classes, and it can provide the code reusability. So this is what hybrid inheritance is. Next, coming to what we have learned the topic. What is inheritance actually? What is inheritance? Acquiring the properties from one class to another class is known as inheritance. It is one of the object-oriented programming concept. And next, we have seen types of inheritance. Types of inheritance. What are the types of inheritances? First one, single inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Third one, hierarchical inheritance. Next one, multiple inheritance, and the last one, hybrid inheritance. So, what is single inheritance? If one class is inheriting the properties of another class, then it is known as single inheritance. What is multi-level inheritance? If the same chain continues, then it is known as multi-level inheritance. What is hierarchical inheritance? If one is parent class and inheriting the properties to another two children class. So, two child classes inheriting the properties from one parent class, then it is known as hierarchical inheritance. And the multiple inheritance, what is multiple inheritance? Multiple inheritance is nothing but if two parent classes, one child class is inheriting the properties from one child class. One child class is inheriting the properties from two parent classes, which is not possible in Java directly. Okay. What is hybrid inheritance? Combination of any two inheritances. Two or more inheritances, then it is known as hybrid inheritance. And we have seen the example programs of this. So, this is what we have seen in today's session. Thank you for all.